Hello, basketball fans and basketball players. This is Coach Max with Bounty Hunter Basketball. Today, we're going to talk about the 2-3 zone defense. Why would you use it? What are its weaknesses? And how do you run it the right way? Stay tuned. The 2-3 zone, probably the most common zone defense in basketball. And just like any zone defense, the defenders are responsible for a particular area of the court as opposed to a particular offensive player. Let's take a look at the setup. You'd have two guards at the elbow just above the foul line, responsible for this area here and this area here. Your two forwards would be at each block, responsible for these areas, and your center would be right in the middle, responsible for this area here. Now, it is not uncommon to see your center moved a little bit closer toward the middle of the lane and your forwards out a little bit closer to the short corner, but that's going to be a decision made based on the age group that you're working with. Now, because your three largest players are going to be closest to the hoop, this defense is ideal for protecting the paint, forcing your opponent to take the lower percentage outside shot. So, ideally, you'd want to use this defense against teams that don't shoot very well from the perimeter. Now, in order for this defense to be effective, the defenders must move in unison to certain areas as the ball moves around the court. When it comes to dribble penetration, the gaps are obvious areas of contention. So it is the responsibility of the defenders who are flanking that gap to close in, forcing the dribbler to either retreat or kick it out to a teammate. Let's take a look at the defensive movements when the ball is passed from the top of the key to the wing. The strong side guard closes on the ball while the weak side guard shifts to the top of the key. Meanwhile, the strong side forward shifts to the short corner while the center shifts to the strong side block and the weak side forward shifts into the lane, keeping their eye on the opposite wing and the weak side corner for cutters. Defenders should always be asking themselves what is likely to happen next. And because that next pass is likely to be to the corner, our strong side forward has a very short distance to close out. Furthermore, our weak side guard, who is now at the top of the key, not only has a shorter distance to close out in the event of a reversal, but has a very good chance at a deflection or interception from that position as well. Now, once that ball goes into the corner, we know what the strong side forward's going to do. But notice the movements of the other defenders. Our strong side guard has now shifted down to contest the passing line back to the wing. Our weak side guard has shifted down to the elbow and has got his eyes on the wing and the top of the key looking for cutters. Our center has dropped below the ball to prevent a baseline drive. Meanwhile, our weak side forward has also dropped below the ball, keeping their eye on the opposite wing, the opposite corner, and the top of the key for cutters. Also, from this formation, our weak side guard is set up nice for a deflection in the event of a skip pass back to the top of the key. Now let's take a look at these defensive movements as the ball moves from the top of the key to the corner and back to the other side. Now, if the wing player sees an overzealous weak side guard creeping into that passing lane, anticipating the ball reversal, then a skip pass to the opposite wing is going to be in order. Now, it is not likely that our weak side guard is going to be able to get over there in time to contest the shot. We definitely don't want to leave them wide open. So, in this instance, our weak side forward is going to have to jump up and help out. When this happens, two or more of your players should be yelling skip, and then the weak side forward would jump out to the wing, but only to give the guard enough time to get in the position. And then that guard would bump what is now the strong side forward back into the short corner. Now, Because the team that you're going to be using this defense against is likely not going to be a team of 3-point sharpshooters, it is likely that you are going to see one or two players already in the post. And because protecting the paint is this defense's number one priority, bodies are to be put on any and all post players before the play even begins. But a couple of ways that a team is likely to sneak the ball into the paint would be to have one of those post players flash from the low post to the foul line. Now, because this is our center's primary area, it is their responsibility to jump up there and contest that. Meanwhile, the forwards will close into the lane to offer support against the drive to the right or left side and also position themselves for any rebounds. Another way an opposing team could get the ball into the paint from the wing is having the opposite post flash to the strong side elbow. Defensive movements on that first pass are going to remain the same because remember, it is based on the movement of the ball. So when the ball moves from the top of the key to the wing, the defensive movements are going to be the same no matter what. But when the ball gets into that elbow, that's when things are going to have to change up. Our strong side forward is going to have to come back to cover the block so that five can slide up to cover the elbow. Meanwhile, our guards are covering the passing lines back out to the wing and the top of the key. Meanwhile, our weak side forward is steady watching that weak side wing looking for a cut to the basket. Entry into the high post can also come from the corner. But again, as the ball moves around to the corner, our defensive movements are not going to change. But if the ball happens to sneak its way into there, that's when things are going to change. So in this instance, it would be our weak side forward who would be going over and covering the opposite elbow. Meanwhile, all other passing lanes are contested, and our center has got the low post covered. And that is a wrap for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, you understand the 2-3 zone defense just a little bit better than you did 8 minutes ago. And if you did and you found it helpful, please hit the like button. That'll help the channel out tremendously. And if you like to subscribe, please do so. And we will see you next time.